Yeah, this is probably not appropriate for me to start with the peace greeting, to be honest with you. Um, this is addressed to someone that told me in an argument not on YouTube, but on another platform. She did not want to hear from me again because I'm an unfair judge and I never have smoke for men, but I always got smoke for women. I don't think she's here yet, but if you are listening to the playback, well, you know who you are. Now, you said you did not want me to address you again. The only reason I'm doing so this time is because I'm responding to when you addressed me earlier today, my time, probably last night, yours. Understand this. You forgot. I'm manosphere. When you refer to yourself as divine or a deity, ma'am, I'm supposed to jump on you right off the bat for that alone, but I never did. Now, when Lashid for You Random Topics had a live stream replying to a live stream of yours, and I saw that she had this going, I had just finished teaching, and I saw that I was already 2 hours behind. You see, although they call you golden oddness, I'm not going to stoop to that level either, but of course, I'm not going to call you a goddess. And as I stated before, that's nothing personal. That's just, well, that's even beyond business. That's from above the seven heavens. But see, Mrs. Golden, real life causes many of us to be hours behind in these things on social media if we're treating social media as a means to enhance real life and not as real life itself. So if the issue for the golden sphere is about you actually being fairly treated and being safe, then a live stream addressing that is worth a listen. But when it becomes about what someone else said that doesn't like you or whom you don't like, I got to skip past some of that stuff. So sometimes I may have even listened to a live stream in which I'm supposed to know what someone said and I don't because I skip past it, trying to find the parts in which, not just for yours, but for any live stream in that sphere, I try to skip past sometimes to try to find the parts where fair treatment and safety are being addressed. And in a nutshell, you already know that because of my real life, I can't keep up with grudges and become an expert in them as if that's even the point. So I have to focus on the two main issues: your safety and fair treatment. Ironically, a deity doesn't have to worry about any danger or being unfairly treated or oppressed. But since you are, in fact, very human, despite the name you've chosen for yourself, I look for what is going to be safe for you and fair for you. And when I say you, I mean plural you. Ironically, these topics seem to be the least discussed in that sphere, even by you. And if you have time to start arguing about genotype and phenotype and jealousy and who's hating on who in your live streams, and even admitting to being partially, maybe 1% incapacitated while live streaming, I don't mean falling off the chair, because you didn't say that and I'm not asserting it, but admitting to being a little bit juiced down, I should say, then obviously this is not really the danger for you. It's not an emergency situation pressing you. If there is, it's certainly much closer to home than what you're facing when you leave home. But anyway, being affected by any chemicals, even 1%, sounds very human to me. Not divine or godlike or goddess-like. Truth is, I knew from jump that based on your name alone, you'd slip up at some point and grow angry with me for something, though I wasn't sure what it was. I just hoped that it would be for something I didn't do. And it turns out that that's exactly what it is. You're upset with me because of what I did not do. You assume that my silence in some of your grudges was a bias against you. And that's what led me to come to understand that you were actually triggered by the same things that triggered Rachel Dolezal 2.0 in the Golden Sphere. So you remember when she was still cool with y'all, and Fran jumped into some streams and I asked for receipts when both of them were starting to tell me that their own views were about the other. I said, okay, well, you know what? Both of you are going to say things about the other. I'll follow the evidence if you have it. And if you don't want to send me any evidence, then it's none of my business. Well, see, I later on learned from this and I said, okay, well, from now on, and I recorded and uploaded, in which I said, from now on, show me if you're going to tell me. Bring me receipts, screenshots, videos, take your pick, but don't ask me to just take your word against someone else for nothing. Unless, of course, you got a track record of bringing receipts before. Well, boy, turns out simply me saying that is what triggered you, because you can remember when someone commented underneath that upload that he had recordings or screenshots of you and your buddy saying anti-black things. I said, show me, because that was what I had just said in the upload. He said he had evidence. So either he has it and he sends it, or he doesn't have it. And I never assume that which he says about you. Well, to this day, he never sent it. And to this day, I have not assumed that you have said such. Ain't no evidence that I've seen. Granted, I haven't had much time, as I've said. So if someone has seen the evidence because they had time to keep up with this mess, I'm not lying and ignoring whatever they saw, even if it's against you or if it's for you. I simply never saw it. So I'm speaking from the evidence that I have seen so far at the time of this live stream. I have to work. I get interrupted during my free time. I simply am not allowed to focus on anything online for an hour uninterrupted most days. And even in this, when I tried to listen to Lashid For You Random Topics live stream, my wife had legitimate questions to ask about our job. So I typed in Lashid's chat that I can't continue listening. Even to the beginning of the live stream that was already 2 hours old at that time. You all were 2 hours ahead of me in that stream. So I didn't get to listen. And your own live stream, which is still up, last I checked, is 2 hours plus. And I'm sure that her previous live stream, to which yours was a response, is also long. So we got well over 6 hours of live stream, and I'm already behind. But when I tried to listen to Lashid and asked if it would still be up to see later, you didn't know this. You didn't know my reason. But in actuality, I was about to break the rule. I agreed to not address you when you told me in Discord, I don't want to hear from you anymore. I agreed to that, but I was about to risk breaking it by defending you. If I listened and found a leg to stand on where I could defend you, that was my intention. And I would have been willing to defend her too. What's going on, that retro? Gifted hands, top of the morning to you. What's happening, Reverend Grinch? But the thing is, you beat me to the punch. You broke your own rule. You saw me ask if it would still be up later. Just that. I know your name was in her live stream, but it's her live stream. So you said in Discord, you don't want to hear from me again, to which I agreed, which is why I've never said your name directly after that. And then in Lashid's chat, because I asked if I'd be able to listen later, you addressed me directly and called me a gossiper. Well, if I'm a gossiper or not, which I actually avoid, which is part of why it is that you haven't heard me say much in your defense or against you. Partially, because I would have to gossip about that which I don't know. The fact is that you still said you didn't want to hear from me. So why did you address me when I agreed not to address you? And even when I was about to risk really just speaking of you, it was going to be in your defense. And you called me a name with which I have nothing to do. I mean, you didn't curse at me. So I'm not saying that, but even to say gossiper is beyond what I was willing to do. We weren't supposed to talk directly, remember? I can't start a private conversation with you because that's inappropriate, ma'am, even if neither one of us was married. And to be honest, I've seen where you have been blamed before for things that guests on your live streams have said to you, not what you said. And I commented and said something against that. Don't blame her unless you know that she knew what her guest was going to say before they said it. Why blame you because someone else goes on your panel and calls unmixed black folks Krispies? And you didn't know he was going to say it ahead of time. Now, you did say that EU was guilty by association with the Empress, which is fine to say because the difference is that you didn't know what your guests were going to say before they said it, as far as any of us know, whereas EU knew what the Empress was going to say before because she had already said it multiple times by the time y'all fell out. Now, in these times, if you can reconcile with her, and have a ceasefire with the empress who's openly misandrist. That I can be cordial and privately disagree and agree with a man who doesn't hate you or any other women, but does notice a cultural difference and disagrees with you and expresses it in places in which non-Golden Sphere people would not have heard it. This is what really happened. That I agree with him making something public that you had decided would be private, even though it had initially been public. I did not, but I had a chance to talk to him privately about that. So when you use the word blackmail, he said in that argument, the one for which I was logged in to Discord, it was early morning my time and I was on vacation and shouldn't have been there anyway. But when you use the word blackmail, he said, show it and don't say it in so many words. And he at least showed some screenshots in which he didn't try such by definition. We never saw screenshots in which he did try to whitemail you. And frankly, I meant to use the term whitemail. What's going on, Blasian? Well, go on, boss mine. So if you think I need to be fairer, there is part of it right there. That's why I said white male. Let's be fair. If they can say black male, I can say white male. I mean, this is what fairness is. I've been commanded in my scriptures to speak a straightforward word and to tell the truth, even if it turns out to be against a loved one or even myself. So if I'm not capable of doing that against myself, then I've got to behave so that the truth will not condemn me later. I still don't control my loved ones. And I'm talking loved ones like, relatives and wives. So frankly, no one showed anyone I know or me where he whitemailed you or anyone else or harassed you or anyone else. When I have a disagreement with him, and there are times it might happen, like I said, that's private. I'm not going to disclose and discuss your and my private conversation, except to say I didn't initiate it because I promised I wouldn't do this with ladies. That's all I'm going to say. We had one, but I'm not going to disclose it. So I'm not going to disclose his and my private conversation, except to say that I know right from wrong, and I haven't minced words with him, even to the extent that I have irritated him accidentally. So while you think we have some sort of unfair bias in each other's favor simply because we're both guys, and the fact is, I don't even have to attempt to irritate him sometimes. But if I'm wrong about something, he's not going to defend me for it if he knows that I'm wrong. He and I don't mind disagreeing, but we have the means to hash it out civilly, absent anyone else. Even the man who you think has been feeding you information about us was not in some of these conversations. Most of them, actually, the ones I'm talking about. Now, in defense of the man that you think has been feeding you all this information, he and I both did say, actually, to the other gentleman that we didn't agree with a particular thing. But what you wanted was for me to jump out and bark and growl at this gentleman in front of everyone else to prove something. And to prove my likability or to do something for you to like me is not a good reason to do it. To do something just to make you hate me is not a good reason to do it. So if it's going to be to defend you or anyone else or oppose you or anyone else, doing it so someone will like me is an immature reason. And I'm not only supposed to do the right things based on what I know, like evidence, but I'm also supposed to do them for the right reasons. And utilizing the means to discuss something between a man you don't like, can't stand, and me privately covers both doing the right thing and doing it for the wrong reasons. Then using public means if it's necessary only, like it was with Nature Boy and Kwame Brown. When I went in on them publicly, that was the reason. There was no private way to go in on them, and they were clearly attacking phenotypes in front of wider audiences. Now, somebody makes fun of McChan because of his looks. Mind you, he and I are both Muslim. Somebody makes fun of him because of his looks, and then I defend him from that. Does that make me a light-skinned savior? I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure, but if it does, then that right there would be proof of what some people have come and said about you. Defend you, but not someone else. But you probably wouldn't mind me defending him. And as a matter of fact, I did speak in defense of his right to not be made fun of for his looks, and you didn't condemn me about that. But this man whom you think never has smoke for men, I'm talking about the other gentleman along with me, simply disagreed with you and some other ladies about mannerisms and was willing to discuss it in house. Additionally, the reason that he never apologized to you, well, I'm not really sure, but the reason I never told him to apologize, but for something specific, i.e., publicly mentioning that which you would determine to, or you would put on a private setting. I didn't agree. But the reason I didn't say to him, go and apologize to her for it, was because when he did that, you said you're not going to be cool again. And this meant you were not going to accept any apologies from him. And you have the right to not accept it. If you choose not to accept it, which was pretty obvious from there, then he should not approach you and apologize. Everything I know that he said or did wrong, we've already had the chance to talk privately about it in a calm voice, and that's mutual. That goes for me too. But when you say, ma'am, stay away to a man, especially to men in the manosphere like me, we understand that even in these argumentative, non-romantic, non-intimate, not even peaceful context, no means no. So if you want us to not address you and not even speak of you, that's fine, as I've already agreed to it, as long as that goes both ways, ma'am. Like I said, I'm only addressing you now because you addressed me earlier. If you decide you want to discuss something away from other ears or eyes, I don't have the option to initiate that sort of private contact, but you do. If you want to discuss something with a witness that can say that the conversation was at least appropriate, you have that option too. If you don't want to initiate any more conversation, then all you got to do is just not initiate. Don't say anything. Don't even respond to this. And I'll assume that you don't. And I won't address you or speak of you after this, as long as that's mutual. I don't hate you. But you see, now at this point, ma'am, we are on opposite sides of something that is not personal, but is bigger than that. And I don't blame you for what you don't know, but I do know that some folks with whom you're rubbing shoulders are going to put some ideas in your head if you allow it. You probably won't allow it consciously, but subconsciously, some ideas will put in even before you rub shoulders with them, subconsciously. So I'm not blaming you for any malice. I'm simply saying that this is what I was talking about previously when I said that if Golden Sphere women are going to distinguish themselves from the hyenas that have already rejected them, not the men, but the sisters. And I don't mean every unambiguous dark-skinned black woman, as would have said. I'm talking about specifically the ones that have problems with MLS women for their appearance or a perception of privilege based on nothing but that. If you're defecting from them, and you have a right to, as I said, you would have to distinguish yourself. And I'm going to come back to that. Actually, no, I'll go ahead and do that right now. See, I said that you're going to have to distinguish yourself with respect to men and what's convenient and what is convenient to men. Or the other option is you deal with the same results that unmixed sisters, period, regardless of their attitudes towards you, unmixed sisters in first world nations are now seeing from the men, i.e., we don't pay them attention. We'll validate just about any other women but them. That's what they're seeing. And if it's not true, they imagine it because they're in these online spaces in which women are saying it. And as I've said, becoming different means that you're going to have to do more than just say that you're not interested in a gender war, even when you mean it. And I'm assuming, because like I said, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. So even when you mean that you don't want a gender war, you still got to do more than just say you don't mean it in order to distinguish yourself. This is going to require things like less beefing, even with women, unless it's about actual justice, fair treatment, safety. And that includes these same things on behalf of men. Not beefing with women because you think that one guy should be completely invalidated and emasculated verbally and insulted by all black admixed and unmixed women, and then one lady comes along and validates him and you get mad and you beef with her. No, that's also out of bounds if you're trying to distinguish yourself.
Okay, so the truth is that this probably is not going to be appropriate.
Sorry, y'all, I can hear a playback on my end.
So I'll refrain from this.
I can hear playback on my end, y'all. Sorry about this.
Maybe you can consider this to be part 2 of why it is that I can't help.
Okay, got it, fixed it. So sorry about that. So understand this. It's also going to mean actually dissecting your own reaction to things before you react out of anger. I don't mean you don't have a right to be angry, ma'am. What I mean is that when someone, man or woman, makes you angry, you can still think logically. Now, see, this is also very key because when some men of the manosphere say that you ladies are incapable of controlling your emotions with logic, I don't want to believe it. If I was biased against you, I would gladly believe it and say some of the same things. No, I don't want to believe it. I actually believe that women can control their emotions with logic. But you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to actually do it, even at times when you get angry. I slipped up and I had to issue a public apology for it. And even then, that guy, he stooped to saying, this black Muslim threatened me. I have an injury and terrible sinuses. If I hadn't eaten something with red pepper earlier, you could hear my breathing difficulties now. And I live an ocean and a continent away from him. How am I going to threaten anybody? I insulted him, but I didn't threaten him. But you know what? That's what happens when I let my own anger get the best of me. And it turns out I couldn't even prove it was him that said something. I later found out that someone else had said something along those lines. It wasn't him. But by the time I found out who it was, I'd already apologized. But I had to do that because I made that same mistake. I look at ladies and I say, okay, you're capable of actually dissecting your own reactions to things before you react from a gut level emotion. You can do it. But the thing is, manosphere men say that you can't. Plural you as a gender cannot do it because what they see is that the only times this is done is when it's inconvenient, not only to men, but when it's inconvenient to men who actually mean the least harm to women. The nice guy. Think about it. You see, this man, not me, but the other man to whom you think I'm so immorally and unbalancedly biased because we're both guys and he's had, these arguments with ladies. He was validated by a lady. Nice to look at, and he complimented certain things. Okay. You got upset with her and expressed this to her. Now, the reason why ladies do this is because you all know that if a lady likes a man, but the rest of you show your disdain and disapproval for that same man, she's going to bypass her emotions and obey a social and childish logic, but she's going to do it. Then again, maybe you're merely using an emotion of shame to override her taste in such a guy. Maybe this is why some men say this. I choose to believe that you're adults, but this means that you're capable of doing it, just like I've had to. I could fly out the handle right now and say, who the hell are you calling a gossiper? If I was going to just give my emotions the better of me. Adults, if you ask me, I'm going to say that because I'm not a misogynist and a chauvinist, that you are capable of using logic in your reactions even when you're angry. That's one other thing you would have to do to distinguish yourself from the hyenas from whom you are defecting and from whom the manosphere is a defection. The other thing it's going to require, ma'am, is that you allow others who disagree with you to finish sentences so that you'll know when they actually do agree. Now, that's not something that only applies to you. I'm saying this applies to any ladies and men who want to distinguish themselves from the immature. Understand this, ma'am. Ms. Golden, unapologetically light skin on her channel, cried after she sweared at you, after y'all had that argument. I heard her cry, voice broke, sobs. I mean, I couldn't see tears, obviously, but I could hear the crying. Because she wasn't even trying to start a grudge or a beef. She was trying to hash out a difference. You have fewer enemies than you think you do, even in me. But she wanted to talk points and you wanted to trade insults. I can say consistently, to your credit, you'll fight men or women. I mean, you'll grudge or beef with men or women. At least you're consistent. But if you think I only have smoke for women, then go around to the women of the Golden Sphere and ask, with whom have I started anything? I didn't even start any stick with Rachel Dolezal 2.0. She started it, but I was planning on finishing it because the evidence I had that she is exactly who Fran said she was, I was going to edit so that I could expose her without exposing anyone else around her. But it turned out others found the same evidence independently of me, partially because she drew attention to herself in that live stream in which she and Fran were both telling me about the other, but she started getting mad at me because I said, just show me the evidence. Whichever one of you wants me to believe anything about the other, show me the evidence, or y'all leave me out of it and it ain't my business. Just by me saying that, you remember Rachel Dolezal 2.0 started going in on me, taking everything I said and exaggerating it, which is a playbook tactic directly out of the hyenocracy from which the golden sphere and the manosphere were supposed to be defections. What's happening, Lion? Peace, VC Realm. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? Tell me about it, Miss Golden. So let me tell you this. I know there's always this talk about, well, isn't this guy more manosphere? And that's not the question asked about me only. It's been asked about a few guys in the golden sphere. Aren't they more manosphere? So far, the muck and what? Here's the reason why. Manosphere done hashed out a lot of this stuff. It's been through stuff I don't even know about because I really got more involved in it as a contributor and content maker, or recorder, I should say, in 2019. That spring. It was already summer by that time it was summer where I live, but it was spring for most of you. And before that, I've been listening from about 2017. So what I'm getting at, Ms. Golden, is that manosphere's got more experience, but they got experience defecting from the same hyenocracy that you say hates you. And you've been good, actually. I would have loved to sit up and tell Lashid certain things in your defense. Like, no, actually, to be honest, Ms. Golden and her buddy have said they're not going to be anti-Black. Ms. Golden's buddy has said that she knows that there is such a thing as a white rejection of those that are biracial, but she does not have much experience with it. She knows it exists, but since it's not her experience, it's not her area of expertise, she can't talk about it that much. That's something other people with that kind of experience can talk about. She's dealt with the rejection coming from the BC of those who have a white parent. I wanted to sit up and say, when I listened to Lashid, I wanted to say, well, okay, maybe they have a little bit of vanity about as much as anyone else, but it's not actually malice. But you see, you said don't address you. So before I can say anything in your defense, when I have the means and the time and the knowledge to do it, you're going to have to say, okay, you know what? You're allowed to mention me and we can directly address each other. And if you don't say it, that's fine. You don't have to, but just understand that even when I have the potential, I'm not allowed to do it. You see, that's what's going on here. Now, okay, you're in here at this point. I got it. Yeah, there's, religiously speaking, meaning not personally, there is an issue with anyone calling themselves the name of a deity. But if you say you're behind, I'll continue. I'll finish. As a matter of fact, I'm almost finished. But you can listen to the playback and you can tell me. Because if you're okay with us directly addressing each other again after you said don't do so, after you told me not to address you, and as I said previously, I'm only doing it this time in response to when you previously addressed me this morning, my time, last night, yours. But if you're okay with that, after you hear the beginning of this, then it's okay. Just say that you're fine with it. And then if I find the time and the means and the information, I would defend you simply because it's the right thing to do. But understand, if there's a time when you're right, what's going on, Red? If there's a time where you're right, and you see, if you say, okay, fair enough then. Fair enough. So then that ends this. At least that ends this particular topic, unless anyone else in the comments wants to discuss anything else. I got a little bit of time left, but that ends this. You said that in YouTube, we can say what we want, fair enough. After this, once we change topics, I'm not going to address you directly unless you address me first. And that's only because you said not to do so in another platform, and I agreed. So I'm going to keep my word until you say, okay, it's fine. But keep in mind, if somebody, well, I mean, like I said, if nobody sends me the evidence that you are or shows the evidence, I'm going to continue believing that you're not. Because as I said, I follow the evidence. But when someone came and asked me underneath my upload in which I was saying I'll follow the evidence, and they said, I got screenshots and I got this and I got that of her and MRM saying anti-black stuff. If someone says this and I say, well, send it, that's not me trying to find dirt on you. That's me saying, if you got it, send it. But don't just tell me, you got to show me. That's what that was. That's what I meant. And when you have grudges or beefs with someone, I work a real job like you do. I really could be very ignorant of it. I may know there is a grudge in the beef and not know who it is or not know what's going on in it. I could literally be, at this point, if you take everything that has come out between just 4 manosphere guys I know, and then all the golden sphere content, I am probably the time frame of a week behind. And I don't mean a work week. I mean 168 hours behind. That's all. I may really not know about something. I'm talking about when you're right. Now, in this case, when it comes to another person, another male that's in another platform that you and I share, Golden Sphere Man, I had the means to talk to him privately. And we did. I won't disclose everything we said because it was private. Just like when you and I did have a private conversation with your consent, I'm not going to disclose what that was. You actually said something that was very mature, but I'm not going to disclose what it is except to say you said something that was very grown up and mature. That's as far as I'm willing to go, and that's actually in your defense because I'm given the benefit of the doubt. Even if you hate me, I'm given the benefit of the doubt. And it's not because I'm just virtuous. I stated in the previous live stream, my last one, I think it was day before yesterday, maybe. I stated in that the reason I do this stuff is because I'm a coward. I'm physically a coward when it comes to burning, torture, or fire. I don't want to burn my fingertip on a hot light bulb, let alone burn my hand on the stove for a second. So I don't want to risk being barbecued all over for a very long stretch of time. So if I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, even if you hate me, that's the reason why. I'm not even doing that to brag or to appear grandiose. So that being said, I think we've wrapped this topic up, and you can catch the beginning at your leisure. And if you don't say anything after that, I'm not going to make mention of or directly address you without your consent. It's a long story, MRM, but I think you just got in. And that's why I was telling her that she can catch the beginning of it. She can catch the playback. So that being said, now, anybody else that's in the chat, is there any other topic y'all wanted to discuss with the time I got left? I think I got about 18 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to have to make a call back to the States while somebody I know there is awake. Then it'll be my bedtime. So the rest of y'all here, well, I've actually agreed with that, MRM. I've said the same thing. And that's exactly why it was that I wasn't willing to apply those. I mean, for one, nobody showed me anything definitively in which you all said anything actually anti-black. But I heard where you said things that were not. Yeah, that's true. This one. If people lie about you every day, that's what it takes. I mean, you got to have that experience. But the thing is, I've had people lie on me before. So I have that experience. It's just not necessarily been on YouTube. I mean, honestly, when I had another platform a long time ago, and I was simply saying that America owes black folks reparations for what she's done, just that, and talking about racial justice and that America had no business invading Iraq and Afghanistan, just that, I have people lying. That's part of the reason I actually was in danger staying in the States. I know you, that's true. You detached from her. And I never said that you did anything else but that. I never said that y'all was still rocking with her afterwards. The truth be told, I haven't been able to keep up with all the streams because shortly after that, I got busy with exams. A semester ended, we got busy with exams, and then I went on the couple's vacation with my wife, had to spend time with her and in-laws. I couldn't sit up here and bury my nose in laptops and phones for the length of these live streams. See, I understand that. This, we're on the same page about. But here's the thing, though. As far as her, that's a question you have to ask somebody else, too, because, again, this question here that I just put up on the screen, she came as a troll. I don't know, because I haven't listened to all of her streams either. They're long, and I haven't had the time. So I haven't sat up and said that she is one or that she's not, because this is the first time I've heard anything about her actually coming in as a troll. But then, to be honest, so too did EU. She told you this, that she came in as a troll. And so this is why I've been saying that when it comes down to the golden sphere, what we have to worry about, we got to prioritize is, in fact, are you safe and are you being treated fairly? I didn't know that he said that he wanted you to say publicly. This one, I didn't know about that. But that's actually, but did y'all say it? That's the question. Because, I mean, at this point, that's been made obvious. Then again, it's not something you have to do. It's just that you don't have to do it, but he has a right to ask. Now, this right here, if she came in as a troll to anybody, that's problematic. Because why did she come in as a troll to Black folks? That would be problematic. To me, that's bad enough. It's if she comes in as a troll to either one, that's problematic enough for me. Now, this here is something I didn't know about because, again, I haven't heard all the streams. So I admit to being behind in a lot of information. But see, again, if I'm behind in it, and then y'all get into a grudge with someone and I'm silent about it, it's because I'm behind in the information. It's not because I got a bias, a sexist bias. That's not the reason. I mean, I have biases as a human, but I'm trained to suspend them. I've been doing it since before I became Muslim. I was trained in college to suspend my biases, and I've been doing it since then. We're talking about 25 years now. Now this, I don't know how true it is. I am manosphere. The first half is definitely true. But see, we haven't had really a definition of either one of these. We haven't sat down and hashed it out. Since the manosphere has been around for so long that even without a written down dictionary definition, we have an understanding. Whereas when it comes down to golden sphere, well, it's still new. So that's debatable. But as I said before, if I turn out to not qualify to be counted as golden sphere, I still want you to be safe and treated fairly. That's the priority. It's not about these arguments. I honestly don't give a rat's behind about if somebody comes on to one of the panels and then y'all start getting into these debates about how someone looks and did they describe how they look accurately until, of course, we got proof of it. When we have proof of that somebody lied about it, then that's when I jump in, as you all saw. When it's just a bunch of arguments, you know, I've had to skip past that. So there's a lot in even the streams that I've watched that I've missed. But here's the thing, this one here, we can't do anything about it. The issue is that she lied. While she was sitting up and telling everybody else every time they disagreed that they were lying. Mind you, see, if this is about, if I'm supposed to be gender biased, then I would have actually supported her because she would admit to something that I've been saying because I saw with my own eyes and heard with my own ears. In the BC, it ain't black men that started this gender war. She admitted that on some of the live streams with y'all. That I did see. I would have supported her if I was gender biased. Fran says to me, no, they don't, it ain't the sisters. I'm not so sure it was. I can't remember. She said that it was men that started it. But Fran and I don't agree necessarily on gender issues. The difference was what I saw was proof that what I saw was that either she lifted her avatar from the one she's been exposed to be, or she's that person. That was what I saw. And the thing is that the person, and I'm not going to say the real name, but the person she was supposedly exposed to be, well, there was some people that actually did approach Fran that knew, they said that they knew her in real life and that she had two white parents. But if you don't mess with her anymore, then that's not really the main issue. And I understand, MRM, why you would not necessarily be there to investigate people. I didn't even have to do an investigation. Evidence came to me. Even I didn't jump in to investigate. This just came about. No, they came to her too. See, she wasn't investigating her necessarily for years. It just came about. I mean, someone came to her. So, I mean, I know it would seem weird, but they actually did go to her with it. That's what's funny about it. See, one of the reasons why I waited until now to say much about it again is not only that I was busy, but one thing I was looking to see on occasion, because it only takes about maybe 7 minutes to search. I could do this when I'm laying down, falling asleep. I would look to see, has anyone gone and followed obsessively anyone else? And I was waiting to see, I actually set myself up as a type of decoy to see if Fran's really just this obsessive personality, then she would have done it in my case. Now, I do know about something that Fran investigated, but it was more so a claim that someone made as opposed to a person. So what I'm saying is she didn't just find someone and then obsess about her. What happened was that this was after anything she asked was after somebody came to her and told her, and it was at least two people. One I found myself. I'm not going to dox that person, but one I found myself. It was at least two that went to her and said, no, actually, no. When she was growing up with us, she came from a household with two white parents. So, and like I said, there's more information that I don't know. Yeah, she did say that. That she admitted. That came about, though, when apparently, like I said, that came about when she was approached. In other words, she didn't just zero in on someone. That's what I mean. It's like she was given a lead. Now, that being said, I got about 8 minutes. Then I'm going to have to make that call. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. She's not going to show, she's not going to dox her parents. Nobody would. I wouldn't do that either, just to be fair. I mean, if I knew, and I don't know who her parents are, but if I knew who they were, I wouldn't dox them. I'd keep that a secret too. Because I actually know her husband's name, but I did know, I forgot, and I'm glad I did. I never went back to look it up because I don't want to do it accidentally. But yeah, I mean, there are people around her that I did not want to dox. And that's the reason why it was that I sat back. So granted, it sounds like you may have other reasons that you disengaged, and that's fine. I saw a picture where she's with someone, but to be honest, I didn't know if that was her mom or not. I actually didn't, it didn't cross my mind until someone later on said, and I was the one that expressed doubt. That was in a conversation that y'all were not present for that conversation. So I don't blame you for not knowing that I expressed that doubt. But when I saw it and someone said, and she goes, I was like, wait, how do we know that that's mom? But, and if that had been her mom, I would have still expressed doubt only because, frankly, well, I'm not trying to dox anyone else. Well, there's no y'all. I found out that some others had it, but I'm not part of a crew that was trying to, that was searching for it. The thing is, like I said, I don't have pictures of either of her parents that I know were her parents. But if I did, I wouldn't have even said anything. See, if I had had pictures, that's one lie I would have told. If someone came to me and said, hey, send me the pictures of her parents, and I had them, I would have lied and said, I don't have that. That's one lie I would have told because I don't know if the parents doing anything that deserves this. And as I said, you don't have to lie to kick it. If she had simply just not said anything about her origin, if she had said, well, my origin is different, then, but I believe that you have a right to be treated fairly and be safe and fine. Now, it's okay to disagree with Fran. I mean, I'm not saying y'all got to be buddy-buddy. I'm simply saying that in one case, one person sits up and says a bunch of things every time they disagree with someone. One of you actually said regarding Smiles, she's the kind of person you can't talk to when she gets mad. And I know she'll say anything. I've seen it. As a matter of fact, back during the time that Anon and LSM had their channel up, I saw it. Well, I haven't had an issue with you, except for when you said, well, you know, you're a partial judge, don't talk to me. I don't really have an issue per se. It's just that then when I went in and I was going to, and you hear this in the playback, actually. You'll hear it when you go back to the beginning and you hear it in the playback, because I don't want to beat a dead horse. Plus, it's easy for me to say now that I said something a few minutes ago. But if you hear it yourself, then you'll know. When you hear the playback from before you came in, then you'll know what the actual issue is and is not. Now, the thing is, she never said anything about having a picture of either of her parents. She didn't tell me anything like, I got a picture of her parents. She never did. But in this case, if it does, I mean, if it turns out that she does do this to people, then that's going to come out too. If it turns out she does this as a matter of course, now she explained what her reason was to me. And this has been over a month ago. She explained what the reason was. And that was because some folks came forward and told her. She said that they used to see each other in some streams, and then they didn't really engage. They just didn't have much of a reason to say much to each other. But getting back to Anon and LSM, she saw some things that she said. And her cool and her very calm interaction with a particular fellow that did say that he was Wyatt. He was in their comment sections a lot, Anon and LSM. And he openly said he was Wyatt. And he later on, I found out that he later on said some racist things to a lady named Brady Hartsfield. Richard Dolezal 2.0 was cool with this dude, regardless. Even after he called the lady named Brady Hartsfield some kind of black monkey or something like that. And I asked her, did he actually say this as just a rumor? And she said to me, Brady said to me, yeah, he did, but we've made up since then. I'm like, okay, well, y'all don't have to continue arguing. It's up to you. The problem is that this dude said some racist stuff. And nobody's checked this cat. No one said anything. But if I simply ask questions, or I say, wait a minute, hold up, these are actually legitimate grievances that the black community has, that I was called off. I mean, I'm talking the way that Anon and LSM did me just for that. Even when I was giving them credit for the historical receipts that they were bringing, that was cold-blooded. I later found out that actually Anon did lie. So straight up, if you want to see me have some smoke for a man, there's a man I got some smoke for. If he chose it. I mean, he's not online anymore, so I don't walk around talking about it too much. But if you wanted to see what kind of man I got a grudge with, there you go right there. I made excuses for LSM actually, because at the time she had a small baby and I was like, okay, she's probably, busy with the baby and trying to run live streams and her attention's kind of split. Man, shuck that fit. Turns out what she was doing is the exact same thing Rachel Dolezal 2.0 was doing. Now, that being said, to answer your question, Golden, it's up to you. Now, if you've established you don't hate me and I don't hate you, that's cool. But I'm going to say this. I am still aware of some other information I'm not disclosing right now. I'm still aware of some others. And that's what puts us on the opposite side of something else. It's not personal. It's bigger than something personal. But in actuality, even though I know about it, I don't have any copies of the proof. And therefore, that's part of the reason I'm not even going to disclose it later on. I'm going to wait till the proof comes out. And if it never does, then I won't mention it again. But I do understand that you all are going to be, if not already, you all are going to be upset with me about something else altogether different. And I can kind of understand why. Now, to answer your last question before I go and make this call, MRM. The truth be told, actually, people do get checked sometimes and other times they don't get checked. It's completely random. I don't think it's enough. I do think that is, I think there's a double standard. As far as if the black community talks down on MLS folks, be they just mixed or light skin or a combination of the two, yeah, that's funny. When that does happen, though, to be honest, and I know from being in pro-black circles, I was raised in them. Second half of my childhood was in them, amongst them. And the truth be told, it would go completely back and forth. Sometimes people would say, as a matter of fact, the old school pro-blacks didn't do this. It wasn't something that they did. I think this came about first. I started to hear about it, and it may be older than this, but I began to hear about it in '95. And it was mostly about non-American MLS. So in that regard, the question for me would be, why don't they check other black folk enough when they start talking down on us? That's the question I would have asked. It's not to say that they never do, but it's inconsistent. I know it's there. But it's not consistent enough. I mean, to give an example, when one man went on Golden Goddess stream and he referred to unmixed black folks as Crispies. Of course, I was against that. And Golden said, actually, that she was not going to do stuff like that. She said that other times before and after that. I refused to blame her. I refused with the past tense and refuse now without the D. I refuse to blame her for what he said. She didn't know he was about to say it. And then not only that, he's so hard to take seriously. I don't know when he's joking and when he's not. Now, my question is this. Is this about me or somebody else? And this one. That right there, that I'm there not to contribute, but to police content. Just asking, is that about me or somebody else? Okay, while I'm waiting on that answer, in this case, I do understand. I do understand that it's pro MLS. I mean, I'm well, I would say pro black. I'm pro black male now because of the hierarchy. And I'm pro MLS. So I get it. The thing is, if someone goes in, like in this case, you said that the most trolls you get got problems with you. They're unmixed and they got problems with you. Not that everybody unmixed has problems, but that the ones going in got problems with you and unmixed. If they're doing that, they're going to get blocked. And I can understand why they would. So see, when I go and I watch these playbacks, I can tell that there are comments that I can't see because they've been blocked while live. And when I go back, I can't see it. So I know something's there that I can't see, but I don't know what it is. So I'm finding out from you evidence, not proof, but evidence that what I know was written, but is not visible to me in the playback might be this. I get it. The thing is this. If someone comes along and starts just dissing MLS folks to me, if I'm going to block one, I'm going to block the other. Now, if they want to have a discussion, civil, then I will allow both. But if I'm going to the thing is that unlike Anon and LSM, you can't come into mine and start saying some anti-black stuff. And then I sit up and let it slide. But then when you say something that is as if to address a legitimate grievance that black folks have, I turn around and immediately jump on you and start calling you a light-skinned savior. That's what it is. That's what I'm talking about. So, and you're right. In this case, that's true. You don't determine who goes in there and says what. And that's why I'm not willing to blame you for what someone else says. Now, somebody could turn around and say, well, why did y'all do that to EU? But I've already explained in the beginning why it was I made a differentiation. And you'll catch that in the playback if you listen to it. And you don't have to. If you don't have time to listen to it, I've already gone more than an hour and I'm already 6 minutes late, then I get it. Maybe you don't have time, but I did answer that. The thing is, the difference is that, like I said, you don't know what someone's going to say before they say it. Additionally, the one I heard use the term Crispies trolls so much, I don't know, or when he jokes so much, I don't know when he's serious and when he's joking. As I differentiated before. Now, that's not something I'm going to ask for. That right there, I know I wouldn't ask for that. What I'm simply saying is, if one comes in and they can get blocked, then when somebody comes in and starts making enemies of the unmixed, I'm going to block them. If I'm going to block one, I'm going to block the other. Now, this is not something you actually have to tell me. But see, this is part of the reason why it was, you're right, MRM, but this is part of the reason why it was that Mrs. Golden, that's why I didn't necessarily jump out and bark and growl when I found some of the grudges she had, but I was finding them out late. See, sometimes I would look in a public server and see an argument that had happened hours before. And usually, if it was really late when I found it and it was an old thread, I would fuck the shuck up because she defended herself. That's the reason why sometimes I might know that an argument happened and I don't jump in. One, I don't necessarily know the history behind it. Two, you know what? They finished arguing hours before I saw it. That's the reason. If people can defend themselves and they don't need me to defend them, that's fine. But what that means is that if I don't do it, especially when I'm late to the party, then that's the reason why. Sometimes it's just that people didn't need it. That's why. Now, yesterday, do you mean last night your time? When you mention this, do you mean last night your time? because that was this morning mine. The thing is this, that rather, if that's true, if that is the case, was that you that said gossiper? Because that's the only thing I saw. I actually didn't see anything else. Wait, wacky world. Oh, okay, I see wacky world. Okay, I see what you're responding to. Now, honestly, this is what you were responding. This is a response to the last one I just had up there. Now, this is some more information for me to catch up on if I'm going to jump in and defend some folks. So what you said, Ms. Golden, is that was you, and that's the only one I saw. So I didn't, if there were some others, I just didn't see them. And the thing is that shortly after, someone told me that you were gone. When I asked a question to you, I can't remember what it was, but someone told me that you were gone. And so, and that you wouldn't be able to answer my question. But see, by that point, what I said was actually, I'm not going to be able to listen anymore. Because that was when my wife walked in and asked some questions about the job. Because she and I had the same job, actually. And so then I wasn't able to listen. I got interrupted. Still haven't finished, and I may never get to. It's already late where I am. Now it's okay, and you're probably going to be upset with me later on anyway for some other stuff. But just understand that in terms of bias, even though okay, you're saying you can't take screenshots seriously, and sometimes, I mean, it's possible to Photoshop some things, but it's time consuming and expensive. Now, the way that I was trained is that if someone shows a screenshot that you can't tell is Photoshopped, and then someone else doesn't show any at all, then you would go with the ones that at least you can't tell are Photoshopped. A preponderance of the evidence. That's how I was trained. It's not personal. So I understand that probably both of y'all are going to be upset with me in the future. And like I said, that's about something I'm not going to disclose on here. I myself am not going to be the aggressor. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and keep this promise I'm already late keeping. And well, yeah, trolls can do that. That is true. And it's hard to prove that they're trolls. So that being said, and somebody might do that to me one day. It's possible. They may try it. I don't think I'm ever going to be that important because, like I said, my real life keeps me too busy for me to become that important here on social media. No, actually, I'm not. If this was meant for me, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not. It's not that. Now, if you meant this for somebody else in the chat, that's different. I stand corrected. Okay. In this case, yeah, I did. I can't remember exactly what it was I talked about, but I remember saying, come clean, or I'm going to do it for you. And I actually didn't get a chance to do it. It turned out to be an empty threat. The thing was, I never, like I said, because I get busy in real life, I didn't have a chance to edit something that I knew, something that I saw, but it would have caused trouble for someone else. I wasn't fast enough. And I admit that I was hesitant. I mean, emotionally, I was hesitant to do it. But I got beaten to that punch. I didn't even have time to gather up the nerve to do it. And you know, I mean, it's like this, multi. When someone tells me I don't want to hear from you again, that does mean that I'm not. It does mean I can't go and reach out privately. The other thing too, multi, is that I'm not supposed to do that with women. Women can reach out to me privately if they choose to. If they initiate, then that's their prerogative. But for me as a guy, married or not, to be doing to go into a lady's private messages at this point, that would be stupid on my part. That would be the dumbest thing I could do. Now, if you mean this, if this was meant for me, well, then that would mean that I don't like most people on the planet. That's what that would mean. And as I've said, see, the thing is, I'm not the one walking around with the bad feeling too. I mean, I've been angry with you before, yeah. But an actual hatred, that's not it. What I'm saying is that you're going to be upset with me later on because of something that I know about, not something I'm planning, something I know about. And the fact, actually, I'm warning you more so about how you're going to feel about me. Now, as far as an expose, no, I'm not sitting on information about you per se, like nothing personal. No, I don't know anything about you personally. I don't know your name. Matter of fact, I recently saw where BSIA, apparently he put the video out a while ago, but I just happened to see where BSIA put something out, and apparently it was where the camera was on you for a little bit, and then he had the sound clip going in, hup, hup, hike, hup, hup, hike. Now, by the time I saw that, you would said, don't say nothing to me. And so I thought, well, even if I speak in her defense, that could tick her off. So I had to be silent at that point. Now, MR, the problem I have with the politics is that it's taken away from the goal of a safe location. A location in which you can be treated fairly and where you're safe. As I've said, this is what I'm concerned with. What I have heard in the live streams, and not so much yours, sometimes it starts and then it stops. So it's a rare occurrence in yours, but what I have heard is they degenerate into arguments about how someone actually looks. And I think to myself, well, these debates about that, without any proof, especially, or when someone is cammed up and then people start talking about, did they accurately describe how they look? And, the senselessness, that's what actually harms y'all. Now, let's say that, the African dude, you mean McCham? I didn't know McCham put anything out because he and I haven't spoken. You said that was the African dude. If that's the case, I'm finding out about that now. Now, when you said not BSIA, see, that's not my partner. So what I'm saying is that he put something out, but when I saw it, you'd already said, don't talk to me anymore. Don't say anything to me. I don't want to hear from you anymore. And so then I couldn't, I would have, he did that. That was a very short clip. It didn't take long to see. And I knew that's not right. Now, I don't call that bullying, but I do call that insulting someone and attacking someone unnecessarily. Stick to the talking points. But I didn't have a chance. At that point, I knew if I even so much as said your name to defend you, you could be upset about it. And I didn't know what you would do. I mean, granted, I live outside of the jurisdiction, but there's no guarantee that I'll never be subject to a lawsuit filed from abroad. Right now, it probably wouldn't be, but there's no guarantee that it would never happen. So I said, well, the safest thing to do, because I do have to go back to the States one day, the safest thing to do is not even so much as mention to someone else, even in defense, someone who said, don't talk to me anymore. The only reason I said this, only reason I'm addressing you now, as I said, is because it's a reply to when you addressed me earlier. That's why. And if afterwards you never say, or if afterwards you say, okay, you know what, don't say anything to me anymore, that was the last conversation, then I have to oblige, as long as it works both ways. So I was playing it extra safe when I didn't say anything to BSIA. I think he uploaded it a long time ago, but I saw it late. Because like I said, I'm far behind. Now, if I'm on your enemy's team, then how do I know you're not on my enemy's team? Because I'm not sure who all you've identified as an enemy outside of Lashid right now and the guy that you figured I was biased in his favor. I mean, he and I cool. But if I've disagreed with something that's going on between y'all, like I said, I don't shy from telling him. It's just that he can't go and apologize if you say to him, I don't want to hear anything from you. If you tell him, I don't want to talk to you no more, we ain't never going to be cool, then he can't go and apologize. If I hadn't heard you say, we're never going to be cool, I don't want to talk to you no more, I would have said to him, apologize. I didn't say it to him because I heard when you told him exactly that. Do I agree with him publicizing that which you put on private? No. But again, I can talk to him about that privately. It's inappropriate for me to slide in your private messages unless you reach out to me first. It's inappropriate to slide in your messages, even if it's to hash out a disagreement privately. Add to that, I'm a married man, you're a married woman. But you said this right here. You listen to people that are openly against the golden sphere. Well, the thing is, if they're openly against it, then I didn't catch the parts where they said I'm against it. Because again, I'm not finishing with these live streams. I get all these notices and I don't get a chance to go in and listen to them. Even now I'm late. Assalamu alaikum, McCham. Actually, McCham, I have a question for you. I heard, and this is about some golden sphere stuff. Someone told me that you and ACBN one point said that MLS people were trying to replace you, replace unmixed relatives. And actually, I later on heard a sound clip of why it is. I heard a sound clip of you saying it. Now, there was a time when I said to you that we can't try to replace the people if we're identifying as that people. And most folks of any black blood identify as black. So we can't be trying to replace you. And you came back and you said that's a valid point. Now, the sound clip I heard did not have a date on it. After our conversation, did you say anything like that? I mean, we had the conversation, then later I heard the sound clip, but I don't know the date of your sound clip. So I don't know after we had the conversation, you admitted that that's a valid point. Did you say that we were, did you ever again say that we were trying to replace you? Well, see, Golden, who is my people? I mean, what are you saying? I don't know who you're referring to, really. And I'll need y'all to type fairly quickly because I'm already late. Here's the thing, Golden. I mean, you said tell your people I don't know what's happening. Well, Macham, I mean, I could open up the panel for a few minutes. The problem is that I would have to rush off anyway. So even if I took you on, I would have to rush off in a bit because I'm already late. And it might seem like I'm running from something. Now, if it's okay with you, if it's only for a few minutes, then yeah, you could. Okay, you say they are who you are, but I haven't warned you about someone specifically, except to say that I myself Well, the thing is, and no, I'm not warning you about someone specifically, but I'm not disclosing exactly what I've been informed of, only because it's supposed to be private, and I don't have proof. Before I say anything about it, I want to get some proof. Talk to who? I haven't spoken to Lashid, if that's who you mean. Oh, no, 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 no. What I'm saying is you're going to be upset with me. I'm not talking about anything I'm about to do to you or anyone else is. And this one here, I'm not talking about what I'm about to do to you or what someone else is about to do. I'm talking about something I'm going to be saying later on. And I know, and mind you, I'm mostly talking about how you're going to feel about something that I'm going to be saying. That's what I'm getting at. Because again, I'm not here to be personally hostile. If somebody else is planning something else, then I don't know about it. Now, when I get the proof of it, then I will. When I say the proof, I mean something that can be copied. Now, in this case, I don't know who you mean. So I guess maybe you thought that I was talking about Lashid. No, I mean, I saw the live stream came up. Actually, somebody sent a link to it on Facebook Messenger. Somebody just happened to send me a link to it. So that's how I even knew it was up there. I haven't looked in it's been about a month, actually. I'm sorry, it's been about 3 weeks since I last looked at anything Lashid put up, and even then I didn't get a chance to finish. I was searching students coming in to take their exams, and I had to take cell phones away from students that were trying to smuggle them in. So in all honesty, I still didn't get a chance. All right, McJam, there you go, sir. It's coming up. Now, see this? Now, I just explained that I'm not looking for dirt. Well, actually, when I said I wasn't looking for dirt, no, I explained it even after you came on. So yeah, not only did I explain this before you came on, I explained after you came on. That's not something I was doing. But when you keep reaching to say that I'm doing something against you when I'm not, that's exactly what LSM did. And unfollowed her. Rachel Dolezal 2.0 would start doing this stuff too. And that's exactly what I'm not doing. I'm actually doing this as a courtesy because I don't hate you. Frankly, I think you're traumatized. And this, don't come back and question us. That's the whole point. I ain't doing that. I'm not asking you necessarily about, now, if somebody says you did X, Y, and Z, and they got evidence, then I would say, yeah, show it. Don't just tell it. But see, the thing is, when someone doesn't support you and I know that they're biased against you, that's exactly what I don't do. That's exactly what I don't do. All right, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you, man?
So far, so good. I can't
Cool.
complain.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Okay, so regarding the situation with, the whole me and ACBN situation, right? First of all, to answer your question, this video was done like, what, almost a year ago? Almost. But nonetheless, so apparently Hybrid Vigor made a video regarding me saying, and the title is called, "This is how MC Cham really feels about mixed people." Like basically just trying to stir the pot and whatnot. Anyway, long story short, I don't know if you watched the whole clip, but in that video, did you notice I said not all mixed people? Like I never generalized mixed people. I don't know if you watched.
I think I remember you saying that there were exceptions. I can't be sure.
Okay, no, but did you watch the clip that Hybrid Vigor uploaded?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice? And not only that, did you see my comment?
No, I never saw a comment from you underneath it.
That's strange. Like,
I know.
I mean, there definitely should be a comment of me, like from me, and there are even other mixed people who have actually defended me, like
Okay.
mixed people I know,
Okay. You mean that you know personally, face to face?
not face to face, but like via like Facebook and whatnot, like you know.
Gotcha. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
no, but I'm just asking, like, first of all, like, have you seen so you haven't seen the comment that I made?
No, I didn't see it, to be honest. If I did, I forgot about it. I'm
Oh,
thinking back now, but no,
okay.
actually.
But basically, this individual is trying to basically paint this false narrative as if, like, basically trying to portray me as if I hate mixed race people and whatnot, and that is far from the truth. You know, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking to any mixed people. But that's what he's trying to do. He's a troll. I'm not saying that to be insulting, but rather like I've heard this from mixed people as well, like that he likes to stir up controversy and whatnot. Like, do you have a question for me, Black Mind, so I can clear things up?
Well, you answered the question. You said that that was over a year ago, and I think it was less than a year ago that I said that.
No, no, not over a year ago, like almost a year ago.
Okay. So now you remember when I once when I said to you that if MLS people largely identify themselves as black, they can't have it in their mind or intend to replace you.
I
And,
remember
and
you saying that you know in my comment section that the reason why a lot of MLS people identify as black is because that's how they were raised. I
okay,
remember that in our conversation thread. It was a good conversation thread. But yeah, I remember you saying that. And I understood, like, it's not like if you are brainwashed into thinking that you're black, it's not necessarily like one's fault. I understand that. I'm just referring to the ones that know they're not, but the people like Halle Berry, like my point is there are some mixed people, not all. In fact, I did say not all in the video, but anyway, when I talk about mixed people, I don't talk about all, but some do, you know, act disingenuous, like they know they're not black, and but they try to identify as black anyway. Those are the people I'm referring to. So the ones who are not disingenuous, I'm not talking about.
that's fair enough.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Like I have no beef, but like I said, man, this guy, you don't have to take my word for it, but this guy likes to troll and he likes to stir up controversy. Like, look at his title, how MC Cham really feels about mixed people. I've literally had mixed race people in his comment section try to defend me, saying, Cham is not like this, whatnot. He stands up against black erasure, and he just replies saying something about light skinned savior or something. I don't know, or he even made fun of biracial awareness.
I don't. No.
Oh, biracial awareness. It's a biracial channel, like ran by a biracial person, and he accused me of running that page, but I don't run that page. That page is run by a biracial person, but he thinks I'm running it. But anyway, but yeah, my if you have the chance, check him out. Why am I bringing him up? I assume you would know him because he's biracial, but it's all right. Well, bottom line, yeah, I wasn't talking about all mixed people. I just said that I was answering a question during the live stream. Someone said, "Do you think that mixed people have an agenda to?" No, yeah. I was asked, "Do mixed people have an agenda?" And notice in that clip, I was like, because I didn't really think of it like that, an agenda. And then I said, you know what? Maybe I think with some of them, like they have an agenda to replace us, but that wasn't all mixed people. That's just some mixed people. I even said in the video, not all, because I never generalize. Like there are some that are disingenuous and there are some that aren't. And if you want, you can go back to the video and play it over again. You hear at the end.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll listen again.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But like I said,
Now,
man, people will try to stir things up, man.
yeah. Well, sometimes it looks like I am too, even when I don't mean to do it.
Oh,
And so I can
nah.
imagine
Hey,
that
black
there are
man.
people that will I can imagine that there are people that actually will intentionally do it. Now,
Mhm.
I'll listen again, and if you haven't made the statement that if you haven't
That
made
all
such a
mixed
statement
people.
after after our conversation, then of course, to be honest with you, then I would have to defend you, because after I stated that people who identify as black can't conceivably plot to replace black people, then, and you haven't made such a statement since then I'm in a position to have to defend you. And it's not just because we're both Muslim, but it would be because you admitted to the validity of a point that can't be the case unless somebody is identifying as other and then trying to replace you. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I have a serious doubt about it. So my opinion on it is different. I don't think that MLS people that identify as non-black or just black ethnics, not actually black, have an agenda to replace. I don't think, honestly, that they even believe they could pull off something like that. Not in the States.
It was literally just a question. Like, someone asked the question, like, and I was thinking in my mind, agenda. Like, I wouldn't even use the term agenda, like, but like I said, if you watch the video, did you notice how it took me a long time to answer that question? Because I wouldn't really phrase it like that. Like, I just know that there are some mixed people. Again, not all, because we're live, so people will try to take what I say out of context. But yeah, there are some mixed people who purposely identify as black, knowing that they're not black, and that's taking part in black redefinition. Like some of them, for some of them, they think it's advantageous, but like I said, not all. And so go on. I'm listening. Black Mind.
If you're speaking about the UK, I'll take your word for it. I've only spent a total of 5 hours in the airport waiting in the UK for another flight. I'm not in a position to debate that. In the States, I could tell you that it wouldn't. It's almost inconceivable. Actually.
What do you mean?
Well, the idea of MLS folks having some sort of, well, in the States, it's almost inconceivable for almost all. It's almost inconceivable for almost any. If there is such an agenda in the States, it is going to be an agenda of certainly not even 20 people. I'm talking 20 people. And they probably would have to work in Hollywood or something. So in the States, no, that's inconceivable. It's just inconceivable. I'll take your word for the UK because you live there. Now, in order to be as fair as possible, even though the ladies don't believe that that's really what I care about.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on with between you and the people in the comments. I'm not even reading the comments. I'm just trying to explain that. I'm just trying to.
Some I can see.
Okay.
But in a nutshell, if to be honest, if Hybrid said it, whether he's right or wrong, if he said it, he probably believes it.
What did he say that he believes? Just so I'm clear.
I mean, if he uploaded and said that you really that you feel that MLS people want to replace black folks, if he uploaded it, chances are he actually believes it. I mean, I know of some things. I know of good and bad things about Hybrid.
Okay.
And so yeah, I know good and bad things. I'm not going to just gossip and talk about the bad, just like I wouldn't have done for other people.
All right.
But if he uploaded, the chances are he actually thinks it. And so that means that there's a reason why he thinks it, whether it's mistaken or accurate. I'm not going to call him a liar. Now, he may have been a troll at one point, but when I've spoken to him, I've tried to catch him in a lie before and actually didn't catch him in one. When I've spoken to him, what I found is that he usually has receipts for what he says. And that's the reason why it is that I can't call him a liar. Now,
that's fine.
Can the receipts be wrong? Well, to be honest, I mean, Ms. Golden brought up a valid point. People can take screenshots from a cloned account and then say so-and-so said or did X, Y, and Z. And that's a valid point. If someone clones an account and uses the same name, then they could do that. So you can produce a fraudulent screenshot, or you can produce an accurate screenshot that's not Photoshop, but for the wrong conclusion.
Okay.
But I can't say that as of yet, I can't say he's lying. The issue would be, what evidence is there that he's wrong? And if you have evidence that he's wrong and you bring that out, then yeah, I'd present it to him.
Okay, I'm not saying, okay, what exactly is he lying about? Because I never said anything about him lying about anything, like, unless you're saying, you're talking about something else. Like, I just simply said, hey, he made a video. He's trying to stir up controversy, saying this is how MC Cham really feels about mixed people, and he basically, put certain clips in, and tried to, basically just trying to portray me as if I hate mixed people and I don't. Wait, hold on a second. I'm being distracted. Hold on. Oh boy. Do you want to read that or should I?
It's all right. I mean, people can see it at this point.
Okay, let me see. Chan likes to try to speak about Black Americans. I didn't know about the one drop rule. Okay, that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. Multiracial movement just hates my guts. Let's keep it real. Like, I've seen her comments previously on my channel, regarding my, that mixed race / light skin people are not black video.
I think I saw it. I've seen plenty,
That's
but I think
that's my most famous video. Like, it's got over 9.7K views.
okay.
Yeah.
What I was going to do is that now she says that you didn't know about the one drop rule.
And the thing is, I did know about the one drop rule.
Okay. So when you're speaking, are you mostly speaking about the states, or are you speaking about the UK?
It depends. You know what? It depends. If I bring up the one drop rule, then I'm speaking about. Well, the one drop rule comes from the United States, so it. Like, you're asking me if I'm mostly speaking about the states. Well, if I'm talking about the one drop rule, then I should be talking about the states. Like, but like, could
Okay.
you be more specific? Like, with the question, like, sorry.
I couldn't be more specific now
Oh,
because, in all honesty, there's a whole lot that I haven't seen lately, and
all right, fair
I
enough.
realize that I'm very far behind in it. And yeah, I'm overall very far behind. Part of this is me trying to catch up as much as possible, just to
Okay.
not be unfair to anybody, really.
That's fine. So let me ask, if you don't mind me asking. So, long story short, there are going to be people who are going to try. There are people that have seen this video, and so they're just going to try and make me look like a mixed race hater, which I'm far from. Like, so with that being said, I don't want you to get that perception of me. Like, I do not hate mixed race people, but that's the narrative that some people would try to paint onto me. Like, I'm cool with Golden Goddess. I'm cool with Exoticals United. I'm cool with all of these people. Like, no hatred, zero hatred at all. I just said that light skinned people are not black. And that's not to be hateful. That's just, I don't know if you caught that, but that was in the video as well. But yeah, my point is, I don't hate mixed people. Don't listen to people who try to paint that narrative onto me. And if you want, we can even speak privately as well. If you got any questions.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. And
Yeah, go for it.
and the thing is, in all honesty, I would be willing to give an avenue where you and Hybrid could discuss. If he's open to it, I'd be willing to set
I'm
up
gonna be
something
frank.
where
I
you and
don't
he.
even want to speak to that guy because he's a troll, like a genuine troll. Like, I have nothing to say to him. Like, with all due respect.
The thing is, I thought so too at first.
Like, I've had my mixed friends say the same thing. I'm like, wow, so he's like trolling mixed people as well, like his own people. But hey, whatever, that's his business. But it's a shame, like he's trying to turn you lot against me, and I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. All I can say is, like, if you got questions for me, anytime, you feel free to ask, because like I said, there will be people who will try to, make me look like a mixed race hater, and I'm far from that. In fact, I think if I had to take a guess, I'd say, regarding my subscribers, I think most of my subscribers are mixed race, probably because of the video I made. But like, I hardly have any black subscribers, which is unfortunate. But only time will tell. Maybe that will change in the future. But
Well,
yeah, but yeah. But,
okay.
yeah, man. If you got questions, just ask me, man. And listen, you got my emails in my about section, so just email me and ask me whatever.
Wait a minute. Did I email you before when I spoke to you? Did I use email, or were we using a messenger service? I'm
No,
trying to
no, no,
remember.
no. So when we spoke, you came on one of my videos, and there was a whole thread, like, in my comment section. So that's where we spoke.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You said about the Khoisan or some sort of light skinned group in Africa, and I brought some evidence, and then you said that you stood corrected, and then you explained why mixed people identified as black, which is because that's how they were raised, and it was a good conversation from there. And then I gave you permission, like, hey, it's been a great conversation. You can make a video regarding my video. And yeah, just said assalamu alaikum, and that was it. Do you remember?
I remember mentioning the Khoisan. Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, that's where it happened. It was a chat thread in my comment section underneath my video. So yeah, but I assume you don't have my email. So if you want to email me, then
Okay.
my email is in my about section. So if you got questions and whatnot, feel free to ask. Because
Got it. Okay.
I won't tolerate people trying to make portray this idea that as if I hate mixed people. Like he knew what he was trying to do, even though I clearly stated in the video that not all, but you know he knows that some of his viewers, you know they have, they're not going to listen to every single bit of the video, but whatever. My advice
There
is,
is
when you get back to the video, do check the comment section.
okay, and look for your comment.
Yeah,
Um,
not just
all
my
right.
comment, but other mixed people's comments, because I've saw mixed people who have defended me as well.
Well, the thing is, if they say in the comments that they're mixed, then I'll know. If they don't say it in the comments or they have no avatar, actually,
Or
even if they
colored.
have an
Yeah.
avatar, then I won't be able to assume, but I'll do my best. Now,
No,
I'll
that's
say
fine. You
this,
take your
and
time, man. Oh, yeah, go on. Do your thing, man.
maybe I do know one reason that he believes that you uh, don't really want much good for MLS people. And I'll tell
Okay.
you about that in private, Lord
Yeah,
willing.
yeah, yeah. Go for it.
I'll explain that.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you
Just
said
email
you,
me. Yeah.
but you said you weren't, you wouldn't want to speak to him later on.
I don't
So
want to speak
I'm
to him,
not gonna.
period.
I get it. I mean, it's your call. I can't force that, and so I'm not going to ask if he would want to, but I'll explain at least why he thinks so. Because as I said, he can be wrong, he can be right. He's human. I just haven't caught him lying, and I think he explained something as to why that was, as to why he had that idea. Now, if it's wrong, then you'll at least have a chance to say, okay, so this is why they think so, and maybe that information will help you. Um, Maybe
Okay.
not.
Just to clarify, yeah, in that video, obviously, like I said, I was asked the question. A commenter. When people make comments and the the host reads out the question, and the way the question was phrased, I answered it that way. That, oh, I mean, they have an agenda to replace us. That's how I phrased it. But really, all I was saying was, there are some mixed people who purposely identify as black because it's advantageous for them. But again, I don't talk about all mixed race people, just some. Like, some are innocent, some aren't. You know,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. But I never generalize. So
I haven't heard you generalize.
yeah, I never do. I'm always specific in my videos, but
and to be fair, even MRM has said that in her view, everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
right.
And so I do see, I've seen attempts by many people. To be fair, that's part of why I wasn't willing to believe when people said without showing me that she had ever made statements that were anti-black. I wasn't going to sit up and attribute commentators or guest statements to them.
Wait,
Now,
MRM? Hang on, sorry.
multiracial
So I'm
movement.
not even. Oh, multiracial. Oh, movement. Oh, I didn't know she was MRM. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention to the comments. I was just focusing between me and you. But yeah, yeah. Carry on.
And so that's about the gist of it.
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate you coming on and answering that one for me.
Yeah,
So,
man. It's cool. It's cool. Like I said, just be mindful that some people will try to paint certain narratives to make you look a certain way. Like there are people that try to like him, for example, who try to make it seem like, oh, he's a mixed race. Hey, oh, he doesn't like mixed people. That's not true. That is not true. If I
well,
truly felt that way, well, then I wouldn't speak to any mixed person. But I'm chill with mixed people. But I'm just saying, don't buy. If someone tries to paint that narrative onto me, don't buy into it. Like don't. Anyway.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't, as before I sit up and especially when it comes to a Muslim, Golden Goddess, that's where I do have a bias. When it comes to a Muslim,
Uh.
I'm definitely going to ask for a proof or strong evidence before I believe something against them. But as I mentioned, he didn't make it up. He got it from a particular source. He could be wrong, like I said, but he got it from a source. When I explain it to you, and I'll do that in private, it
Yeah,
may
that's
shock
fine.
you, but then again, it may help you out too. And
Okay.
it will probably be some difficult information, but one of the reasons why I would send it to you in private is because it may shock you, but it would give you a chance to deal with that privately before you even react, to process your
Okay.
reaction
So
before you
what is
do
it?
it.
May I ask what it is that you're gonna send me, or is it, or you're not able to tell me?
I shouldn't say it publicly.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, you know where my email is. It's in my about section. You do the thing.
yeah. So I'll go there and then I'll have to email it to you and explain the reason. It's not going to be any pictures or anything, but I can explain exactly from where he got the idea.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, man. That's fine.
And I think somebody is in the comments and blaming you for somehow he found me. Now,
What? Hey, Mr. Uganda. Yeah. Carry on. Black Mind. Uh,
now, to be honest, I have to agree. Now, Blasian King Golden Man is not he's not in the States as far as I know.
oh, do you want me to
So
look at the comment section? Sorry, because I was just focusing on you. Do you want me to?
no, you don't have to. But
Oh,
what I'll do is I will, and if you're on your phone, then it may be more difficult to see the comments right now anyway. So I won't put that on you. But I'll say what he said. I see he's where he lives. I don't think they have a one drop rule. I'm not really sure if they have it there.
okay.
But I have to agree with him about how I have to agree with him about how it just doesn't seem plausible. Like most MLS people, even in the Americas, it's not just the States, but even in the Americas, wouldn't be able to come up with, wouldn't be able to conceive of a way to replace unmixed black folks.
Okay, but
He's,
you do know I wasn't talking about most. Like that's why I always clarify. I don't generalize. I'm
yeah,
I'm talking about the ones. I'm literally talking about the ones that know what they're doing, man. What I was trying to basically say, because of the way the question was phrased, so I was trying to answer it, within that question. Like, the sentence involved agenda, right? So I
mhm.
answered it in that way, like they have an agenda to X, Y, and Z. But really, usually I wouldn't really phrase it like that. I would just say something along the lines of, there are some mixed people who identify as black and they know what they're doing. Like they know that for some of them it's advantageous for them. Like basically, this some of them are disingenuous when they do it, but that's just them. I'm not talking about all mixed race people. I never do. Just like there are some mixed race platforms that talk about black people, but I know it's like Exoticals Unite, for example. She talks about certain black people, but you know, she's not talking about all black people. I watch her content, and she never makes generalizations. She's just talking about certain black people. So I wouldn't then go and make a video of her saying, "Oh, this is how." I'm not gonna make a title saying how Exoticals United truly feels about black people. You know what I mean? That's just a stir. Like I would never do that. But yeah, I'm just letting you know. Like I don't generalize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all. It's not even most. I'm just saying the ones that do identify as black, like on purpose. Knowing that they're not, those people, like they're very disingenuous.
Well, we may have. There may be a time when I get to go live.
Okay.
Probably won't be this weekend. I don't think. I'm not sure, but there may be a time next week when I get to go live if I remember and there is that time, then I might ask you questions about how even how plausible that is in the UK. Because I could tell you in the States, it's not really, in most of the Americas, it's not really plausible. But you may be able to explain to us how easy a thing that is to do in the UK.
Okay, can I clarify? Because, like I said, with the way the question was phrased, during that live stream, like, I'm not, when I say agenda, I'm not literally thinking agenda like, oh, you're huddling up into some basement, with some blueprint, blah, you know what I mean? It's not really like that. You know what I mean? That's not how I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't even want to use the term agenda anymore. I'm just saying, basically, if you ask me how I feel about certain mixed people who identify as black, I would just say, hey, the ones who identify as black on purpose are disingenuous. That's literally how I feel.
Well, that's a fair answer to give.
Yeah, but this talk about agenda, I mentioned agenda, but that's because of the way the question was phrased. So I was trying to answer it in line with the question, like how it was phrased. Like,
As far as you know, was the questioner asking about the UK, or was it hard to tell?
was the question about the UK? I strongly doubt it was about the UK. I don't know. I guess it was about America. I didn't know. It didn't really specify. But if I had to take a guess, I would say probably it was related to the United States.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not, this whole agenda thing. It's not as big as people are making it out to be. Like I said, I was answering it the way the question was written. But if I had to phrase it a different way, I would just say, hey, some mixed people identify as black, and some of them that do it are disingenuous. Now, it's not all of them, of course, because there are some that genuinely are innocent, but some of them aren't. Like, some of them know they're mixed. Some of them, do you get where I'm coming from? Like, just how there are
Well,
some black people who try to claim mixed people as black, and there's some that don't do it. That don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I understand the difference, yeah, because
Yeah.
there are going to be those, and if you live somewhere where there is no one drop rule, then there will be those who claim it because, as far as they know, they are, and then there will be those who say that it's a separate category, that admixture is another category,
Wait, repeat
and
that. Sorry, repeat that.
if you live where there is not a one drop rule,
Yeah.
where people, let's say people know about it, but it's not a universally accepted supposition, then it makes sense that there are going to be people who say, okay, well, admixed is black, and then others who say that admixed is a different category. That would make sense that you'd have both. And so therefore, I can see why you're making the division, why you're distinguishing between um, uh,
Who
those who,
falsely identify as black, like on purpose, versus those who genuinely just don't know.
yeah, I could see why you would make that distinction.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, that's a fair distinction to make. You're at least you're factoring in people's intentions
Yeah, of
before
course,
you
of
would.
course. But again,
But
when he published the video, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to portray me. He was basically trying to get mixed people to hate me, like to make people think, oh, MC Cham hates mixed race people, and that's not true. But again, I know why he did that. I know why he did that. So if you have a
oh,
question, in case you're questioning me, if I hate mixed people, I don't. I don't. I just don't consider them black, and that's not out of spite. It's because black people and mixed people are different, like racially. Like, black people have certain traits. Mixed people, well, mixed people are mixed people. Like, we are different. I want representation for black people, and I want mixed people to represent mixed people, and that's perfectly fine. I want each group to have fair, accurate representation. You know, I want people like Halle Berry to represent people like Alicia Keys and Barack Obama, etc. And I want people like Idris Elba to represent people like me and Michael Jordan. That's all I want. That's mainly what my channel is about. It's not about spreading hate. It's about clarifying who is black and saying that mixed people aren't black. And you know, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and that light skin is not an African trait. That light skinned people are not black. But again, I know you, Black Man, have been black identified for a long time. So I am aware that this may come across as hate, but honestly, it's not. It's not hate. Like, you know, you're still cool. I'm still cool with you. You know, but yeah, I don't consider mixed people as black. I know I've said that many times, but I'm just clarifying.
Well, I get it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
if you believe that I'm of another category,
yeah, yeah.
a related category but different, I'm not going to take that as hatred.
Yeah,
Um,
no, of course, yeah. And I think we talked about that before and we clarified, you know, it was a good convo. There was no animosity and whatnot. I was just saying that, hey, I just wanted to make a distinction, but that doesn't mean we're not related. You know, we can still be cool and coexist and whatnot.
yeah, you did clarify it, and I agreed.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you
It's
made a video about that as well. And, you know, you
I
said that
probably
I said it with no hatred or rancor or something like that.
yeah, that's the word I would have used, hatred and rancor. So
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember every video I've uploaded now, but yeah, I did discuss that. But about the representation, I didn't get a chance to ask you that time about,
Yeah.
do you mean political representation
Oh,
or do you mean media representation?
okay. So I guess you could say media representation. I'm just talking about imagery in general. So, for example, like, you know, a magazine cover, right? Again, this is just an example, like out of the blue. Like, if there's a magazine and, you know, on that magazine cover, you know, the company is looking for a black woman, but there's a mixed race woman instead, that's something I have a problem with. Now, I would want like someone like Lupita to be on that cover if it's meant to be for black people instead of putting someone like Alicia Keys. So all I want is, you know, if there's a cover that's meant to be for black people, like there needs to be a black person on that cover and not a mixed race person, like, and being labeled as black, you know, like, because that's not what blackness looks like. Someone like Lupita or Denai Guerrero, those are what black people look like. That's all.
Okay, so you're referring to media representation
Yeah,
and
basically.
political.
Explain the political part. Sorry.
Um, Actually, the political part's probably so long to explain. It's so difficult to explain
Yeah, that's
that I
fine. We
would,
can talk
I,
about that privately. So, because I know you don't have time. So,
but I would say this, and this is to be clear about where I agree and where I disagree. Um, Not to
okay.
be a jerk per se,
No, that's fine.
but
Do
just
your
to be
thing.
clear,
Do your
the
thing.
thing is that when it comes down to the media representation,
Yeah.
um, in a nutshell, even though it's fair, everyone represents themselves. At least they represent what they actually, um, uh, at least it's honest that they represent what they've actually been told that they are. The issue was this: the media representation is just media.
Yeah.
So
No, of course. That's I mentioned that in my light skin video. Like, there's an racist agenda by the media, like to replace black women with mixed race women. Like, but obviously not all. You know, but there are some medias that will purposely use a mixed race woman and label her as black. But you know, I don't know what else to
but
say.
and I'm not going to say that that's an honest thing to do if the light um if it
It's
is
like
that
with
the
Meghan Markle. Sorry for interrupting. It's like with Meghan Markle. Like there are media outlets that will label her as black. I'm not gonna blame that on Meghan Markle. Like that's the media's fault. Well, yeah, you can
okay.
carry.
Well, yeah, if the magazine's doing it, then yeah, she didn't lie per se. Then that would be on them. The thing is that if it's going to actually be a cause, then it would just have to be more important than just media representation. Because see, the media representation is usually not men's fight.
Okay.
Usually, we men have had to worry about. I mean, if we're going to start thinking about legacy, then we have to worry about. We can only worry about media representation to the point that it affects our abilities to provide for our families. But
Okay.
if it comes down to the media representation, the truth be told, that's where you're going to have some people that are going to come in and use you, not because your platform is unfair. It's just that they're going to take a low priority and make it a high priority and put you out in the front.
Are you
And so,
okay? What do you mean exactly? Do you mean like as in like there are some people that are threatened by my video and so they'll try and sabotage me? Like
I'm not
taking it
aware of
down.
that.
Oh no,
Not
I'm asking you if that's what you mean. Like,
no, I wasn't thinking of that actually. But
okay,
what I mean is that if the priority becomes media representation, then it almost becomes a moot point because um, it's just media representation. It's not really going to be, I mean, it's not going to have that much of an effect on real life. And I say that not because no one cares about the media. I say it because people care too much about the media. Also, it would boil down to things like movie roles. And these movie roles affect a very, very small sliver of a percent of the population because how many actors are in between London and Hollywood? How many actors are there? And then compare that to the total populations of the UK and the US. And so then the media representation would wind up affecting a very small percentage. It wouldn't actually, even if you were fighting for media representation, it wouldn't actually have a positive effect on the bulk of Black folks or MLS people because it wouldn't have it wouldn't make a difference in the lives of the bulk of anybody, any
okay,
particular group. And so it's not wrong that you want representation based on what someone actually is, based on what they inherit from the parents.
yeah, just
It's just
accurate
that
representation. You know, like just to spread awareness that hey, this is what Black people look like. That's mainly what my channel is about, so that people don't be brainwashed into thinking that mixed race, like this is what blackness looks like. When a mixed race person is being labeled as Black in the media, I'm trying to make sure that people don't be brainwashed that this is what a Black person looks like. Do you know what I mean? It's just spreading awareness that hey, Black people look like Lupita, not Alicia Keys. I don't want people to be brainwashed into you know thinking that Alicia Keys is Black. So that's why I make my videos.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's fair. I mean, the criteria for the representation makes perfect sense,
Oh, okay.
but the issue was that if it's going to center and the priority is going to be media representation, then it's going to tie you up. It's going to have you putting your energy where it doesn't really make a big difference in anyone's lives, be they MLS or unmixed.
As in, like,
And
this isn't a major issue.
yeah, I mean, psychologically to people it is, but as in financially, in the long run, and even psychologically in the long run, it wouldn't be. Because what'll happen is that it'll come down to an argument in between movie roles, like what happened when Black Panther was being casted. And you had some actresses that said, actually, I'm going to turn down a role that I was offered because I don't think I represent the continent that well. And then others came along and started arguing, no, you should have taken it because we're diverse even on the continent. And others said, nope, because you really don't. You made the right decision by turning the role down because you don't represent. It's not realistic. And see, it becomes an argument. But the
Okay.
argument becomes about movie roles. Now, the movie roles, how many actors were in the Black Panther movie? Then juxtapose that to how many people argued about these movie roles. So what I'm saying is that it would tie people up in arguments that would not actually affect their real lives. And what I want is to see people's real lives actually be enhanced. And social media, like I've said, it's a tool for that. And that's part of why it is I feel guilty that I'm still on. It's not because you all don't mean anything. It's just that I'm also looking at the people in my real life, and social media. I hope that it enhances their real lives, even the people that I know in real life. But if we tie ourselves up with these things that don't actually make a substantial difference in our
Like they're not
lives.
of significance, basically.
Exactly, they're not.
Okay. I
And we
mean,
become too dependent upon I think we become too dependent upon media even to determine how we view ourselves as opposed to
yeah.
merely being conscious of how we look in media and how that's going to affect the people that we don't know when we first meet them. That's a valid concern. We've turned around and become too dependent on media even for our own self-image.
Right.
And
Um,
so
if it's
what I'm
okay
going
with
to do,
you, go on, go on,
go
go
ahead.
on.
I'm listening.
No. Okay. I was gonna say, if in case it's worth mentioning. I don't know if you caught. Um. Okay. During my light skin slash. Okay. During my mixed race slash light skin people not Black video. Um. I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned in the video that the reason why it's problematic for the media to use mixed race women like and pass them off as Black instead of using actual Black women is because, and this was just an example, right? I mentioned that the reason why it's problematic is because some with black little girls, right? Little black girls watching on their TV screens, right? When they see those mixed race women being passed off as black by the media, that can have an effect on those black girls because they're seeing what is supposed to be a black woman, but turns out it's not actually a black woman. So they're gonna think that there's something wrong with them. That hey, I'm black, but why don't I look like the woman on the screen? And so this can cause problems where, you know, these little black girls could have, you know, self-esteem issues, and it will make them want to lighten their skin and basically just manipulate their features and whatnot just to look like the so-called black woman. Just thought I'd, you know, mention that. So, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it can be
Yeah.
a damaging thing to do.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a
Partially,
reason as to why, you know, it is problematic. Like whether it's, you know, major or not, I'm just putting that out there that it's worth mentioning.
it's worth mentioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is
So
that what we have to understand is that neither black folks nor
mixed race.
admixed folks control the media right now.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. So listen, I don't control the media. Many people don't control the media. Like the media controls the media. So right, which is why I understand that. Which is why I mentioned that, you know, the best I can do regarding the me. Hold on a second.
No, no, keep going, keep going. The best you
Oh,
can
yeah.
do.
So
I'm
I
listening.
got distracted. Okay. So the bottom line is this. I'm well aware. I agree with you that the media controls the media, right? I don't control the media. You don't control the media, which is why I'm, you know, the best I can do is spread awareness to people to not be brainwashed by the media. That's the best I can do, you know, in my situation. Like the media are gonna put this and that out, and I'm gonna make videos to let people know, hey, this is what the media is putting out. This is what the media is labeling as black. Do not buy into it. That's one of my main goals. You know, that's one of the things I do on my channel. That's the best I can do regarding the media is to make sure people don't get brainwashed by spreading awareness. That's all I can do. So yeah, that's all I have to say regarding that. Hope you understand what I'm saying. If you're confused, please ask me.
Okay. Oh, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
And
Yeah, man.
I'll try to remember the questions by the time I get to the email later on.
Yeah,
And
that's fine.
I would ask more, but I'm already late, and my son at this point has every reason to chew me out and cuss me out like he's the father.
Damn, what
Um,
happened? Like, you don't have to explain because I didn't really watch the whole live stream. What happened between you and your son?
oh
Or
no, no,
that's what you don't.
I'm
Okay.
supposed to. I was supposed to give him a buzz a long time ago.
A buzz.
Give him a call.
Okay.
See, he's
Oh,
back in the states,
right. Oh, okay.
and yeah, so I think he knows. I mean, I think he knows that I have a channel, but and I told him that I told him that I would try to finish around a particular time, so he may know why I'm late. But at this point, I'm over an hour late, so he's got every right to cuss me out and call me all kind of B's and MFs and every all sorts of other cuss words.
I'm
So
sure you. I'm sure you two will work it out. I'm sure you two will work it out.
well, yeah, I mean, I am more than twice his age still.
Yeah,
Eventually, we
that is
will,
true.
yeah. But you
Yeah.
know, fair is fair, and at this
Yeah.
point, he's going to have every right to do it because I'm the one that's late. I won't have a leg to stand on to defend myself. So
Yeah, I hear you, but like I said, you know, you guys will sort it out. You know, I'm sure. You know, even though I won't blame him, you know, considering the late situation, but like I said, I'm sure you guys will work it out. You know, and things will get better afterwards.
inshallah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, we don't hate each other or anything like that. It's just he has a valid argument now.
Yeah.
Now
No, I understand.
your memory is better than mine. I realize, I
Mm.
confess that you got a better memory than I do.
Mm.
I think I'm going to remember to explain to you why it is that Harvey came to actually believe what he said. I'm
Yeah,
sure I
that's
remember
fine.
that part.
Yeah.
If I forget, my God, I'm already forgetting it. If I forget, though, remind me to explain why it was that I came to the conclusion. Not that you have to agree, but just remind me to explain why it was that I came to the conclusion that the Khoisan were in fact an African people, despite their shade. Remind me to explain that later if I forget.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, but just so you don't forget, just remember to check my email in my about section on my channel. Or if you
Yeah.
want, after the stream, I can comment my email. But then again, it will probably get deleted. So yeah, just keep my email in mind, like right now.
Yeah, if it's in your about section, I can remember to find it there. I might forget to send to you why it was that I came to the conclusion I did, because I remember stating it, but I didn't support it. You supported yours,
Like
and I
man,
didn't.
I will help you out, bro. If you send me an email and you do forget, I will help you out. I will remind you.
Thanks a million, sir. I greatly appreciate that.
No
And
problem.
all right, salam alaikum, Cham.
Walaikum salam. I won't keep you long. Thank you for having me on the show. Just wanted to clear things up. People are gonna stir and whatnot. But yeah, thank you for having me and take care.
Gladly, sir. Salam alaikum. You take care.
Walaikum salam. Bye.
All right, folks. So I'm going to go and keep this appointment late, but I'm going to do it. Ladies, no, I'm talking to GG and MRM. No, I'm not out after y'all. I know that y'all are going to be upset about something later that I'm going to be doing or saying. That's what I was getting at. Trash Bandit, what's going on, man? So, in that regard, I don't blame anybody for. I don't blame anybody for disagreeing. Definitely not. That's fine. But as far as me starting out with a malicious intent, no, it's just that what it comes down to is I'm here to be fair. And when it comes down to certain conflicts, I know who started them. And sometimes I don't know who started conflicts. When it comes to grudges on YouTube, I don't always know who started them. It may take a while to find out. When it comes to race relations, I already know. White folks started it, black folks didn't. I already know that. When it comes down to gender relations in the first world English speaking nations, i.e., the English speaking countries of the Americas and the UK, I know that black men did not start that gender war. So when you see me being pro black man, it's because we didn't start the gender war. That's why. If you see me being in favor of racial justice and it's not very flattering to white society, that's the reason why, because we didn't start that racial conflict. And even then, doesn't mean that I'm ever going to, on an individual basis, make the worst assumption about a lady or about somebody of Caucasian origin. Doesn't mean that. But I don't make any apologies for being somewhat biased, not so much in favor of Muslims per se, really, more so being biased in favor of Islam. I don't make any apologies about that because it's not something that's going to harm people. So anyway, that being said, no, Red Lord, this ain't your fault, man. It's not at all. The thing is, I was trying to allow a particular sphere to benefit from the manosphere because both of them were defections from the hyenocracy. And I was thinking, well, if they learn from the benefit of the manosphere's experience, they can defect too. Because, like I said, I was never in the manosphere just to be against women. It wasn't to be against women categorically at all. It was so that men don't lose in a gender war. That's why I was in it. That's why I am in it. And I saw that there's this group of men and women that are going to defect from the hyenocracy. And I said, hey, you know what? We're both defecting. So what I'll do is I'll let you know as much as possible, as much experience as I know that we have. I try to benefit you with it. And when I found is it degenerated into beasts and grudges. And now the gender war is there in the golden sphere. I didn't want it. And the two ladies that were in here stated specifically they didn't want it either. And yet everybody got caught up. Mostly because of some ladies. Mostly because of a few ladies in the golden sphere that were already on that gender war stuff and they just took it to the golden sphere. They were already there when I got there. I went thinking I could help prevent it. They were already there. That's what all this is about. Thank y'all for listening. Now y'all know why I say black heart, black mind, black out. Assalamu alaikum. Till next time.